Well, hey everyone, and good morning. It's nice to see you all from behind these rose bushes here, and we will certainly get to that in a moment. But today we have some fantastic and fabulous musical guests from the Finger Lakes Opera. So I want to bring forward Elizabeth, who's going to talk just a little bit about our music today. Welcome.
And thanks to all of you for allowing us to be here this wonderful Sunday morning. Brock wanted me to share how disappointed he is that he can't be here today, but I think you'll be very pleased with the person we've slotted to play the piano. Brock told me that the theme of today's sermon is loving those who hate. And this resounds profoundly with several of the programs that Finger Lakes Opera is going to be presenting this summer. One of those programs is a Juneteenth commemorative event. There will be singing and dancing and poetry, all in celebration of Black liberation and the journey toward freedom and equality for all. The second program, perhaps the most anticipated, is the result of a 2.5-year project, the world premiere performances of Two Corners. Now, Two Corners tells the story of a Black woman named Florine and her friendship with Sarah, a white woman, over a 2-decade period during the civil rights era. As these friends reconnect and begin to reminisce, they realize that their memories are not the same at all. This story talks about race, perspectives on the status quo, and unfortunately at times inaction, but also what it means to be a friend and an ally. The music you're going to hear today will be performed by collaborative pianist Eriko Becerra and baritone Holden Turner. One of the songs that you'll hear in the middle of the service actually is in Two Corners. If you want more information, there is literature, and when it gets warmer, these fans might come in handy. But not today, probably. But there's literature out in the coffee room area. For now, thank you again for inviting us, and I hope you enjoy the music.
I know why the caged bird beats his wings. why he beats his wing. I know why the caged bird sings. Ah, when his wing is bruised and his bosom sore, when he beats his bars and he would be free. It is not a carol of joy or glee, but a prayer that he sends from his heart's deep core. But a plea that upward to heaven he flings. I know why the caged bird sings.
What a treat today. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Wow. Welcome to First Universalist Church, everyone, where we are called to nurture the spirit and to serve the community, and also to listen to absolutely gorgeous and fabulous music on a Sunday morning, it turns out. Woo! I am Reverend Lane-Mairead Campbell. I'm your settled minister here at First Universalist, and I use they, them pronouns. It is a real joy to be here with you all this morning. Joining me in leading worship, of course, are Hold and our fabulous collaborative pianists. Thank you so much. Tom Williams using he, him pronouns this morning. We'll hear a story from Reverend Michelle Yates using she, her pronouns. Jack Cunningham holding it down at the tech desk using him pronouns. Jack will be with us through May 12th. That will be his last Sunday. People got to graduate, though. People got to graduate and go do their thing. But so grateful, Jack, for all you've been holding down for us. And joining us online for our online ministry team today, Karen Labraco using she, her pronouns, and Ezekiel McGee using they, them pronouns. Thank you, both of you, for your ministry with our folks online. If you're here for the first, second, or third time, we especially welcome you this morning. It is really good to be here with you. We want to make sure that we introduce ourselves to you so we don't assume that you know who's here and who's leading your service today. So I'm really grateful to folks who have decided to click the link and join us online, as well as folks here in person. Please, if you're joining us online, click the link in the chat to fill out a visitor's form. If you're joining us here in person, there's a visitor's form on the back of your order of service. Please fill that out and get it to an usher or a greeter today. Wow. I'm really grateful that all of us are here. And we oftentimes have a moment to get to greet one another here in this space. And also, but before we do that, before we turn to one another to greet one another here and also to pop into the chat online and to put down who's here, let's connect our two communities. So if you have a moment to turn back towards the camera back here and to offer a wave, to turn towards Hope, and to offer a wave to our online worshiping community, we are so grateful y'all are here with us this morning. And now I'm going to invite you, if you are here in this space, to turn to a neighbor and offer a greeting. Please greet folks you haven't already seen before. Please offer a greeting this morning. And if you're online, put something in the chat to say hey. All right, y'all, all right. Just stop being friendly to each other and have a seat, please. Break it up, break it up. Oh, I'm so glad. You know, y'all, this morning we have a special treat. We're not going to sing yet, so please have a seat. I know this is a little bit different, but we have another special treat. We're just going to be doing special treat after special treat for y'all this morning. We are truly blessed here at First Universalist Church to have an active membership committee and to call forward from among you a group of people who are making a commitment today to become members here at First Universalist Church. Woo! These new members have done their discernment, have spent time with us and amongst us, and are now making their responsibility to this congregation and this community official today. So we have much to celebrate. Would our new members, would our folks who are newly signing the book today, please come forward to sign the book right over here at this time. Please come on down. I feel like a furniture set. Come on down. But as our new members come forward, as our new folks come down here, we just, as a congregation, need to prepare our hearts and minds to offer a blessing to these kindred spirits. We know that as a church, if y'all would go ahead and sign the book, that'd be great. We know that as a church, as folks are signing the book, I'm trying to, as a church, we need new perspectives. We need new people to help us grow into the congregation that we seek to become. And we need new folks to help us live out our shared mission to nurture the Spirit and to serve the community. Our membership books in our archives contain names of people dating back to 1846. To the official founding of this congregation. And today, our fantastic and fabulous new members join in this long stream of families and individuals that have decided to make First Universalist their religious home. So we welcome you all. Once you're done signing the book, if you'd come up here and join me, we're really going to put you on the spot now. So come on up and make your way up once you're done signing the book. And Sage, if you want to come up already, you can, or if you want to wait for your mom, that's totally cool. No pressure. All of these folks joined us at our Getting Connected series last Saturday. We had a fantastic day of storytelling. Yeah, it was super fun. Storytelling, connecting with one another, talking about Unitarian Universalism, talking about this congregation. And we're really, really, really excited to get to welcome all of these fantastic and fabulous folks into our membership. I'm going to put down my iPad next to the candle and hope that, we'll be okay. But please come on over, come forward. That we get to offer you a blessing. So what's your name?
Tom.
Hi, Tom. Welcome. Welcome to membership. We have a rose for you this morning. May your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may the work of your hands be blessed all of the days of your life. And what is your name? Joy. Welcome. May your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may the work of your hands be blessed all of the days of your life. I'm just going to grab some more from over here. Would you like to go first? What's your name? Sage. Welcome to membership. May your thoughts be wise. May your hearts be wise too. But may your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may your hands be blessed all of the days of your life. It is a blessing to have you here. And what's your name?
Catherine.
Catherine. Welcome. May your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may your hands be blessed. And may the work of your hands be blessed all of the days of your life.
Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. Come on over. And what's your name?
Robin.
Robin, welcome to membership. We're so grateful you're here. May your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love, and may the work of your hands be blessed all of the days of your life. Come join us. Please, 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 please. Would the members of our church rise in your pews, and will our visitors please bear with us? We ask our members to read aloud this blessing. Let us join together. Friends, you have joined our church by placing your name alongside ours in our book of names. Have you come of your own free choice to live in covenant with us and to move together with us into our future with hope and vision? Yes, yes, yes! And now would you please offer this blessing? We, the members, the First Universalist Church of Rochester, welcome you to our search for faith in freedom, our work for justice with love, and our practice of keeping an open mind. We pledge to offer you support in times of sorrow, laughter in times of joy, encouragement in times of doubt, and to hold our lamp high to light your way. Welcome, new members. We are so grateful to have you amongst us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As our new members make their way back to their seats, please stay standing, y'all, because we are going to sing this morning. We will join hearts and voices in singing hymn number 119. It's in your gray hymnals, and also the lyrics will be up here on the screen. Once to every soul and nation. Let us join in singing. Did.
In my readings this week, I found that hate comes from 4 sources: envy, insecurity, fear, and ignorance. And then I found these 4 little ditties to address each of the 4 reasons. The first, an author is unknown. The first addresses envy. In worship tones they speak of me, in words like shadows dark and free, but I stand tall amidst the hate, their envy a badge I wear with grace. Insecurity. In their eyes, malice gleams, a reflection of their broken dreams. But I won't drown in their sorrow's sea. Against their tide, I choose to be free. Fear. Their words aim to tear me down, a storm of hate, a thorny crown. But I rise, a phoenix, bold and new. In their night, I am the morning dew. Ignorance. They seek to write my destiny, the words of hate, a dark decree. But my story, mine to pen, beyond their reach, again and again. These brought me to the conclusion that love of oneself is the greatest defense of hate. Let it go. Come, let us worship together. Will Kitty Forbush please come forward to light the chalice? As Kitty Forbush lights our chalice at First Universalist Church, and you light your chalices in your own homes, will you join me in saying our chalice lighting words in unison? May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and spirit, and may we reach out to serve our community. Please rise now in body or in spirit and join me in our affirmation of faith, followed by our sung offering. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do with each other and with all.
What we need is here. 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 Please be seated.
Drum, D-R-U-U-M-M, is our April Social Justice Plate organization. Drum is a Unitarian Universalist people of color ministry and anti-racist collective bringing lay and religious professionals together to overcome racism through resistance and transform Unitarian Universalism through our multicultural experiences. We developed several older ministries, developed from our several older ministries, namely the African American UU Ministries and Jubilee World Anti-Racism Change Trainings. Drum is grounded in the Unitarian Universalist tradition and maintains a close relationship with the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations. We encourage you to contribute what you can to support this valuable organization. So please be generous this morning. You who are here in person are invited to drop an offering into the offering basket, or if you are a visitor, please feel free to let the basket pass. You are invited to give online by scanning the QR code on the back of your order of service. For the folks online, please click the link in the chat to give to the First Universalist Church, and thank you for your generosity. Today's offering will now be given and gratefully received.
power throughout the universe display. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Story more clearly today, I welcome you. Get it on the floor over there. Let me grab my storybook seat. So today's book is by two sisters, Leona and Gabrielle Prince, and they talk about how this is really a poem with beautiful pictures. And from their ancestry, or what they call I'll make sure I have it, their ancestral Dakel knowledge. So the Dakel, or the Carrier, are the indigenous people of central British Columbia in Canada. And it is illustrated by an artist from books we've read before, a Cree artist named Carla Joseph. Be a good ancestor. Be a good ancestor with water. Raindrops become puddles. Puddles become streams. Streams become rivers. And rivers become life. The Dakel people were known for carrying their canoes with them from stream and river to travel their area. Be a good ancestor with the land. Seeds become seedlings. Seedlings become trees. Trees become forests. Forests become oxygen. Be a good ancestor with living things that fly. Eggs become hatchlings. Hatchlings become fledglings. Fledglings become eagles. Eagles become iconic. Be a good ancestor with living things that swim. Eggs become alevins. Alevins become fry. Fry become sockeyes. Sockeyes become nourishment. Be a good ancestor with living things that walk. Newborns become cubs. Cubs become young bears. Young bears become grizzlies. And grizzlies become balance. Be a good ancestor with your neighbors. Neighbors become friends. Friends become communities. Communities become nations. Nations become allies. Be a good ancestor with your thoughts. Thoughts become ideas. Ideas become actions. Actions become movements. Movements become change. Be a good ancestor with your words. Words become expressions. Expressions become stories. Stories become narratives. And narratives become truth. Be a good ancestor with your feelings. Feelings become compassion. Compassion becomes understanding. Understanding becomes beliefs. Beliefs become values. Be a good ancestor with yourself. Children become adults, adults become leaders, leaders become elders, and elders become ancestors. Be a good ancestor. I wanted to leave you with one note that I've said a few times in church. Our children-friendly answer to loving people who hate. It's the gospel according to Frozen. Do you know this one? People make bad choices when they're mad or scared or stressed. Throw a little love their way. You'll bring out their best. It's a good one. Thank you so much. Now, as we prepare our hearts for our time of joys and sorrows and prayer, let us first start by singing our doxology. Did you want to go back and sit with
Please be seated. I want to invite you into this reverent time of sharing the joys and the sorrows of our gathered community. If you would like to, you can place a hand over your heart to be able to listen from a heart-centered space and place wherever you are worshiping with us today. As Tom places stones into the bowl, I will read aloud the joys and the sorrows of our gathered community. All online are also invited to share your joys and your sorrows in the chat, and I will do my best to read them aloud. This morning, I just want to invite us to continue to hold in our ongoing hearts of concern, both healing prayers and thoughts for our music director, Dr. Brock Chesvold, and also for our sexton, Albert Lawson. So just please hold Brock and Albert in your hearts and in your thoughts. We have a joy from Lou Ward Baker that our Seder is happening this upcoming Friday at 6:30. Please wave your hand, Lou. See him after the service for that. Very joyful piece. Oh gosh, a joy from Donna Anderson to welcome our new members. Please come to coffee hour and greet our folks. Again, thank you so much to the folks who signed the book today. We share a joy from MJ Curry. We had an amazing hiking trip in Wales. Both MJ and Maritz, a true vacation. And also a joy from MJ Curry for Clinton Swingle and his hard work as a gardener for an auction item that was bought in the church auction. He gave her garden extra time. Clinton, can't wait for you to make your way to all of our gardens. The joy that Clinton will be doing all of our yard work. Yay. Oh gosh, we share a joy from Lois and Greg Baum that Greg's radiation last fall worked. No cancer remaining on his left cheek. Hooray! Yay! We know that as we are a joyful community, a joy-filled community, we also hold sorrows here, and we also hold those of us who are sick and in need of healing. We have a note today from our caring committee that's happy to report that Karen Labraco and her husband are on the mend recovering from COVID. And Karen, hoping you and Barry continue to heal up well and your symptoms remain mild. We share a sorrow this morning from Kitty Forbush. Please send prayers to my AA sister, Liz H., who lost her husband, John, after a brief illness. He was only 54. Holding Liz and all who knew and loved John in our hearts. We also hold this morning in our loving care Marty Eggers. Just a note from Krista Gollier, Marty broke her toe this past week and is wearing a boot. She's finding it a little bit difficult to walk her dog, Lukey. Oh, Marty, we're thinking of you, hoping you're with us online this morning and holding you in our healing thoughts. Oh, I also saw a concern for Brock's health. He has like a really bad cold. He's going to be all right. He's going to be okay. But we just send him healing thoughts anyway because we love him. This morning we hold that we are a congregation and a church that is worshiping and meeting in a time of war. We acknowledge that the wars and the conflicts that are happening in Israel, in Palestine, in the Ukraine, in the Congo, in Sudan, we acknowledge that these are wars and conflicts we are connected to. And we also acknowledge that there are so many wars and conflicts and acts of violence happening in our world that we cannot know and cannot name. We grieve together the losses of life, both on behalf of the military members who are of service to our country and to the countries in the midst of these wars. And of course, we hold the people, the civilians, the hostages, the families, the men, the women, the children who are dying our world over due to war. We earnestly pray this morning for these wars to cease. We light a white candle this morning to acknowledge the grief that we all feel in these times of war, grief as a connecting source, grief as a part of so much loss. May we be connected to those we might see as other and far away through our grief. And we also light a yellow candle this morning to honor joy. Joy as a sustaining force still found in the midst of deep and difficult times. The joy of human existence, the joys that we know we can find here in this space and that we know need to be the sustaining life force for those experiencing war, conflict, and violence more directly. May we be connected through our experiences of joy. Dear ones, we will just hold a brief moment of silence to honor the many deaths, injuries that have happened this past week due to wars across our world. We earnestly pray for these wars to cease. May we know the names of those we have lost, and may we hold that we cannot know all. Let us drop one final stone into the bowl to represent the joys and the sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. May all be held in the heart of love. I want to invite us in this moment into a time of prayer and meditation, a time to be connected with our earth. Jonah Welch, trans religious leader and public thinker, reminds us that there is absolutely no distinction between my own bodily health, my joy, and that of the land, that of all the people of the land everywhere. So let's just take a moment to connect to our bodies in order to connect to the earth. Acknowledging that these vessels are made of stardust, that our bodies contain all elements: earth, air, fire, and water. That through our bodies we are connected to the soil, the sacred ground upon which we find ourselves wherever we are worshiping from. So breathe in deep in this moment. And continue to breathe slow and steady, connecting to your breath. Let us just take a moment to connect to our breath, to listen to it. Go in and out. To feel the rising of our bellies or our shoulders or our chests with this sacred breath. Feel yourself firmly held by your seat, and if it is available to you, place your feet firmly on the ground where your body connects with the earth below you through your seat, through your feet, through the ways you are being held and cradled in this moment. As you breathe in, allow your awareness to travel down below the floor, below your seat, below the concrete, which is also made of earth, into the soil that holds you. This earth that contains you, that sustains you. From your feet, from your seat, allow roots to travel out into the earth. Take a moment to feel this connection, to connect to this sacred space below. To soil and stardust, to decomposition and death, to new life and nourishment. You are nourished by this land. Through the food you take into your body, through the air you breathe, through the water that is alive in you and that you need to live. Let us give thanks today for the earth's sustaining forces, for the earth allowing us to remain even in the midst of so much degradation and devastation. Let us give thanks today for our lives supported by this vital life force. Let us give thanks today for the earth's beauty found in the blooming dogwoods, in the gorgeous spring flowers we see all around us. Let us give thanks today for this earth. And out of gratitude, love. Love which calls us to be in right relationship with the earth. Love that calls us to tend to our corners of the earth. Love that calls us to remember how connected we are through this sacred vessel to the larger sacred vessel. Love of our bodies. Love of one body. Love that calls us to keep advocating for a future that is sustainable on this planet. Love. Love, love. From our breath through our feet and our seat to our roots. Love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let us remain connected to this earth and in this rooted way as we share some silence together. As we return from the silent sanctuaries of our hearts, let us sing praises to the earth and its cycles with our hymn of contemplation this morning, hymn number 1068, Rising Green, a hymn of spring. It is such a joy to be together with you all this morning. And I want to say that my invitation to preach on loving those who hate came from our church auction and Lou Ward Baker purchasing an auction topic. And so I just need to put a little disclaimer at the front of this that loving those who hate, I think, is a lifetime journey. You're going to get a snippet from me this morning of what this looks like, but I think this is one of our central theological and religious tasks to wrestle with how we do this. So I will seek to address it this morning, but I stand up here humbled before you by the topic is really what I'm trying to say. And I'm really grateful to get to think about this a little bit this week. And in this time period, because this is such a present piece for us right now, isn't it? Yeah. I wanted to begin by speaking about something with which there may be a little bit of distance for me and for us. So if you could take your mind back to 2021, maybe you don't want to go back there. It's understandable if you don't. But in 2021, noted conservative political commentator and all-around rabble-rouser Rush Limbaugh, I hear the hiss, died. It was early in the year, and many of us were still reeling from the 2020 election, right? The January 6th insurrection, and so much of the political tension we had been living through. It was still a time when we had to be more COVID cautious, when folks were not yet vaccinated, or maybe we're just at the beginning of getting there. The time frame's a little fuzzy. But in the wake of Rush Limbaugh's death, my ministry mentor, an all-around Unitarian Universalist ministry badass, Reverend Molly Hausch-Gordon, created a Facebook post that inspired a bunch of conversation within and beyond Unitarian Universalist circles. On February 17th, 2021, she wrote, "When evildoers leave this earthly plane, Unitarian Universalists are reminded that universalism is not up to us personally. Some things, some people, we just leave up to love eternal." Thank goodness. I'm just going to repeat it. When evildoers leave this earthly plane, Unitarian Universalists are reminded that universalism is not up to us personally. Some things, some people, we just leave up to love eternal. Thank goodness. And man, folks really dug into that. And it was fascinating to see how people were in conversation about this. Unitarian Universalism has quite a rich theological diversity. So, love eternal. I lift this up today because I think that there are times in our lives when being asked to love those who hate is a tall order. It is not always available to us, and that is extremely human. If you have struggled with this, you are not bad. You are not inherently unlovable. We would not be here this morning asking you to engage in something that is cruel. I'm hoping that from the foundation of our Universalist theology, we can explore what it means to love those who hate together. The call to love has been at the heart of Universalism, of Unitarianism, and of course, of Unitarian Universalism. Much of it began with the love of God, with the questioning of why a God should be worshiped who punished, who inspired fear. Our theological ancestors that signed that book back in 1846 would believe in a loving God and saw it as a faulty motive to worship a God who punished and who inspired fear. Jesus called us to love our neighbors as ourselves. Why would God not do the same? A devotion born out of fear felt like an abusive power dynamic to them. Not a lasting devotion to a God whose central tenet was love. Our Universalist ancestors knew God to be loving. And what I appreciate about Reverend Molly Hausch Gordon's take on the death of Rush Limbaugh and what Universalism calls us to do is to recognize that for those of us who believe in God, we are not God. It is okay for us to be human. And also, we must tread this world, move through this world with humility. To believe in a loving God or even a force for love that runs through of all of humanity or all living things that connects us all does not mean that we ourselves are called to perfectly embody love towards those who hate, especially when that hatred is fuel and source for oppression, for fueling the sinful thought that some are superior and others inferior. Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman, a noted theologian and mentor to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., grandfather to liberation theology, he writes about his grandmother, Nancy Ambrose, in his book, Jesus and the Disinherited. He shares how scripture was used to reinforce white superiority and to justify enslavement of his grandmother and other enslaved Africans, how Pauline letters were used by these white ministers that affirmed that slavery was God's will. Now, I think I'm going to extremes here, but it does feel like the ultimate form of hatred to enslave a people and to build a country that has enshrined within its systems white superiority and inferiority of the black race, as well as those who are indigenous to this country, Asian Pacific Islanders, Latine people, and all who do not identify as white. I know that this is the ultimate sin in our story of these so-called United States of America. And its legacy has carried forward through theologies that would continue to keep some superior over others. I do not think it is realistic, nor really a loving thing, to ask those who have black ancestry in this country, to ask black folks in our present time to love the very people who enslaved them, nor the preachers who blessed it all and helped white folks to feel justified in such enslavement. And I don't think it's a fair ask to turn towards any oppressed group, to ask people who have been marginalized to love their oppressors. However, I want to give us an entryway and to get a little bit more expansive with our theology. We have so much theological diversity in this congregation, right? Those who identify as Christians, as theists, as atheists, agnostics, Buddhists, pagans, Hindus, Jewish folks, and so many more that I have left unnamed. If I've not named where you sit theologically, please accept my humble apologies. So we cannot speak solely about a Christian perspective nor a God-believing perspective, right? As someone myself who is more witchy and earth-based in my own theology, I know the love of the earth to be for everyone. The earth provides for all equally, and some of our human systems, of course, seek to control what the earth produces for profit, but the earth provides for all the same, whether or not one hates or loves or finds themselves somewhere in between. Our humanists and our atheists, who are likely in the house today, have so much to bring to this issue. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thanks, MJ. Woohoo, the atheists are here. Y'all have a lot to bring to this issue because y'all are dealing with the human realm, right? Right here, right now. Possibly without an ultimate source to turn towards that will hold the love when you cannot get there, nor when you should be asked to. It brings me to this question: what does it truly mean to be loving to other human beings, to love our neighbors, especially when we know our neighbors to be actively involved in hatred? To love, I use this definition both from Bell Hooks and M. Scott Peck, is to want for the spiritual growth of another. It does not mean to turn the other cheek and ignore what is happening. It does not mean that we should skip over the truth with those around us with whom we are in relationship. I do not believe that peaceful dialogue is always the path of love, though it is one path. I have known love from others as a fierce protectiveness, sort of that mother's love or that parent's love. I have known love as a willingness to engage in conflict with one another for the sake of creating deeper understanding and making space for closer relationship. Love as being in dialogue authentically and not just trying to smooth things over. It can truly be an act of love to get into that challenging dialogue, to take the time and attention to name with people where their hatred is causing harm or harboring the growth of others. Can we find a way to want for the growth of another who is actively engaged in hatred? I think that love is more available to those who are not on the receiving end of that hatred. And I have seen, witnessed, and experienced the ways love and loving relationships can help people grow in understanding, grow past their held beliefs that certain kinds of people should not exist or are inferior. But I also want to caution us here. For every story that I could share of homophobic grandparents whose grandchild came out and they grew out of their hatred for queer and trans people, there are also stories of families who cast out their children and grandchildren, unhoused and without familial support. For every story I could share from personal experience of how being in relationship with Black neighbors and people of color helped me to grow from the white supremacy and racism I had internalized, there are still ways that that kind of hatred has taken root in me and shows up in my daily life. When people choose to continue to love those who are immersed in hate, the most effective way is through relationship, through our own limited sphere of influence. And we cannot engage in the codependent mindset that it is our job to heal and fix those around us with our love. We cannot claim to love someone while actively trying to change things about them. We can claim to love when we are willing to want for another's growth and when we are showing up authentically in relationship with others. What I am saying here is I would encourage you to be in loving dialogue with those who you know hold prejudice and isms, especially if those prejudice and isms are not directly affecting you. You can be the most powerful force for love in those situations. It might be one of the best tools that we have available to us to actively fight oppression and hatred. Our relationships, our love. I imagine that in this space, we have many stories of transformation. Moments when we ourselves unlearned some of the hatred we were taught. And I imagine that growth and unlearning happened in relationship. I think it is worth noting that each and every one of us in this room has been taught how to hate as well as how to love. Perhaps in our family of origin, in our society. Some of us with systemic power behind the prejudices that we were taught, with that hatred reinforced in our schools, our legal system, in media, in social norms. To love ourselves as our neighbor can mean being truthful with ourselves about where we ourselves have sown hatred, where we did not know any better, where we have had to learn to be more loving, where we still need to learn to be more loving. Like Tom reminded us this morning, the end to hatred and the force for love in this world begins here. The judgments that I hold about myself are often, or the judgments that I hold about others are often a judgment I hold about myself. And what I am unwilling to forgive in others, it's often things I'm not willing to forgive myself for. There is a humility here that is not about marinating in the humiliating stories from the past we would rather no one know about, but it is the hope that we can find in knowing our own stories of transformation and recognizing where love has taught us to question and release some of the hatred we ourselves have internalized, whether hatred for self or hatred for others. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called towards love. We keep love at the center of all that we do, and we must know how love has helped us to grow if we can continue to hold hope that love eternal will continue to transform and evolve our world, our country, our city, our neighbors. Love's power in our own hearts can be the testimony to love's power on a much larger and grander scale. It can be the force that calls us to build a new way, to continue to fight the hatred within us and around us. It is the only lasting and constant motive for justice, for creation, for growth, for unlearning. May love take root in each and every one of us. May we continue to hope for and to embody the love of the divine and the love of one another, moving towards times where we shed the limiting beliefs that sow hate. May we remember to be loving in our relationships. And may we know ourselves to be loved as we build a new way. Amen. Blessed be, and may it be so. As we continue to consider what it looks like to love those who hate, to love ourselves, let us continue to build a new way together. Our closing hymn this morning is hymn number 1017, Building a New Way. It can be found in your teal hymnals, and the words will be up here on the screen. Let us please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing together. Standing as we extinguish our chalice flame. Here are First Universalist, and in your own homes, if you're joining us online, let us read together the words printed on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts. with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again. Dear ones, I invite you to place a hand over your heart. If you're joining us online, turn on your camera, turn it on to gallery view. If you're here in this space, place a hand over your heart and just take a look around with you here. These are the folks you are joining along this spiritual journey towards learning to love those who hate, learning to love ourselves into unlearning our own hatred. May we ourselves be free. May we engage in loving and faithful relationship. May we ourselves know the power of love, felt here in this space and beyond. May we know ourselves to be loved, and may we go and be that love with whomever we meet in the days, moments, weeks ahead. And let the people of the church say, amen.
Morning.